Hey everybody, welcome back to my channel, and today I'm going to be talking about my top 5 things that you need to buy if you're going to start a garage gym with Strongman as your sport. The first thing that you might need is something to actually lift out of. Where you would normally recommend maybe a power rack, a squat stand, some sort of wall-mounted rig. If your goal is to train Strongman, personally, I think that a yoke is probably your best bet to satisfy this requirement. Not only is a yoke, but a lot of the brands that are out there right now actually act as squat stands. They can act as a fat grip pull-up bar. They act as a yoke. And there's even some companies out there that make some combination yoke farmer's handles. But getting back to it, I think that the first thing that you should look at is a yoke. For my garage gym, I chose the Rogue Y1 yoke. I chose the Y1 because it's about 6 feet tall and can fit in and out of the garage space without having to take it apart. Having made that decision, I actually think that if I was to go back and do it again, I would purchase the Y2 yoke, just because it's a little bit taller and you're able to get underneath it to squat a little bit easier. And on that, the yoke actually comes with these J-cups that you can use for doing any sort of barbell movements out of the rack, where you normally use a power rack. So I chose the Rogue yoke, but there's other options out there, and most of them are just as good. Some of them are actually a little bit better, and I'll show you a few of those now.
So I'm going to go ahead and start with the Rogue Fitness yokes. As you can see here, we have the Y1, the Y2, and the Y3 Rogue yoke. And the only difference between the Y1, 2, and 3 are going to be the actual height. The Y1 is your standard yoke, and it's about 6 feet tall. And the nice part about the Y1 yoke is that it fits in and out of the garage assembled. You won't have to take it apart. The Y2 and the Y3 are both a little bit taller. The Y2 is 92 inches tall, which means that you could probably have it set up in your garage and still use it, which is going to be an advantage to you because we're going to use this to actually perform lifts with. We're going to use it as a power rack of sorts. And the Y3 is 110 inches tall, which for some of you, you might want to go out and measure to see if you can actually accommodate. Of the three, if I was to go back and do it again, because I currently have the Y1, I would definitely buy the Y2 on the second go around. I think the Y3 is nice. It's just a little bit too tall. I don't think I'd get any advantage to it. Plus, I'm not sure how I would even get the cross member up that high. But anyways, those are the Rogue Fitness ones, and these are sitting at $495 all the way up to, and I'm just going to show you the Y2, $535, and of course with Rogue, you'll either have to pick up at the Rogue store in Columbus, Ohio, or you have to pay shipping. The common alternative is Titan Fitness, and this is the T3 series yoke that's short and T3 series that's tall. Again, the only difference between the two are how tall that they actually are. The nice part is that these also have the west side hole spacing. They're pretty much mirror copies of the Rogue Fitness ones. I actually used a 92-inch model at the Oklahoma Strongest Man competition, and as much as I really don't like Titan Fitness, it really wasn't that bad. These are on sale right now. I think it's the Friday the 13th sale right now at $304, and I believe that is the shipped price. You won't have to pay shipping. And that's for the short version. And for the tall version, it's $321. And again, the only difference is 72 inches tall or 6 feet tall for your short model, which is the current height that I have in the Rogue version, or the 92, which is the one I would recommend. So for $321, you have yourself a yoke. The third version, and again, there are so many different ones out there. Just a simple Google search will take you there, but is the Fringe Sport Strongman yoke, just to show you another alternative. This one's $549, and that includes the shipping price. And as you can see, it is both a yoke as well as a power rack of sorts. It looks like it's only available in one height, which is okay. And it's also 2-inch hole spacing, which for some people that might be a little bit of an annoyance factor, just because of maybe setting up for the bench or setting up for the squat, as well as because it's only available in a short height, you may find yourself having difficulty actually having the bar tall enough to be able to get underneath your bar and unrack the bar for, say, a squat. So this is the Elite FTS E-Series yoke. They also have a Ultimate, I think is what it's called, like the Ultimate Series yoke. And these are pretty much the same thing, just the Super yoke. Pretty much the same thing. The only difference is the construction and the material. So this one has the tubes. It's available in different colors. But both of them are made in USA. Both of them have a 2-inch cross member, where all the other ones that we've just shown you have either a 3-inch or a 2.95-inch cross member. Some things I don't like about these is, one, they don't come with a J-cup. So I don't think you can use these as an actual rack, which is part of the advantage, because again, this is 5 things to use for your strongman gym that is more versatile. But this is an option that's out there. Elite FTS does have a yoke, but keep in mind, if you buy this yoke, you're buying it as just a yoke. And if you want to go super cheap, I actually would not recommend this at all. I'm going to be dropping a review here pretty soon as I'm done breaking it. But I actually have a TDS Fitness piece of equipment that I'm running through its ringer. And I just found it entertaining that Amazon had an option out there. I mean, look at the size of those wing nuts. That this thing is going to break in a heartbeat. But if you wanted to spend $280 and entertainingly just break something for the sake of breaking it, I would buy this.
The second thing that you're going to need if you're going to build yourself a home gym and have strongman as your sport is going to be a barbell. If I was to go back and do it all over again and just purchase one single barbell to be my barbell for everything, it would definitely be the Rogue Ohio Power Bar. This opinion is of course based on the fact that I don't own a lot of the other powerlifting bars that are out there. All I've ever had for powerlifting itself is the Ohio Power Bar. But a lot of the other bars I purchased, such as the operator bar, the deadlift bar, the Bella bar, the multi-grip bar, the safety squat bar, all the bars that are throughout my garage, the one that I use the most is the Ohio Power Bar. It's the most versatile. You can do cleans with it, you can do any sort of overhead movement, you can do squats with it, it feels good in your hand, it has nice knurling, and it's relatively affordable. Of course, there are other options out there, but my personal opinion is that you can't go wrong with the Ohio Power Bar. And then we get to one of the more opinionated things, plates. Do you go bumper? Do you go brand name? Do you go used, new? Do you look for something that's incredibly cheap, or do you buy something that you want right away? Plates are one of those things where this is going to be probably the most expensive part of your gym if you're just doing a 5-piece strongman gym. So I would make that decision based on how much money you have to spend. When it comes to the quality of the plate, I would say that the quality of your plates should definitely not be your #1 priority. I have a mix of bumpers and steel plates. I have the Rogue machine plates as my steel plates. Basically, after having my garage gym for a while, I found that I had a little bit of extra money to spend, and I decided to spend some of that extra money on having a set of plates that I really wanted, which are these machine plates from Rogue. The ones that I actually started with were the high temps. I still have them, I still use them, not nearly as much, but I have them. The reason I chose the high temps is because of their high durability, their bumper plates. So in my head, when I was starting my gym, I wasn't really thinking about running out of space on the bar. But unfortunately with the high temps, they're so thick that I ran out of space. The Cap brand was one of the first brands that I ended up purchasing when I switched to steels. But again, it came to a point where I just wanted a standard set of steel plates, and the Rogue ones were the ones I wanted, and so I just bought them as I could. But again, Third thing, if you're going to be building your garage gym, is going to be weight plates. And this is where you should be able to save the most money or spend the most amount of money, depending on which way you decide to go. Item number 4 that I recommend you get if you're going to only purchase 5 things to start a strongman gym is going to be a sandbag. And I'd recommend that it actually be your body weight or slightly heavier than your body weight. Most strongman competitions are going to involve a sandbag of some variety, whether that's a throw bag like you see here, or just a heavy bag to carry or load or put somewhere. The nice part about sandbags is that you can change the weight of them by using different fill material. One of the things that you can do is actually fill it maybe halfway with sand and halfway with either crumb rubber, or you can buy the rubber mulch from any home goods store. Home goods being like your Lowe's or your Home Depot. And that'll actually lighten the load quite a bit. That way you can ramp your way up to be able to pick up the 250-pound bag. That's number 4 is sandbags. I'm going to show you guys a couple options.
So here's the different types of sandbags I have. I have the Rogue 250-pound Strongman sandbag, which you can see here, which cost me $135. I've had mine loaded to 250, and I've weighed it. It weighs 250. I love the way it feels. It's nice and compact. It loads really well. It actually loads really easy. The one that I have has a 550 cord lacing system that's underneath that main flap, and then there's a zipper underneath that. All the stitches seem really solid, and I'm really happy with these sandbags. I'll be getting more of these in the future. I also have a dual ply sandbag from Cerberus Strength, and for this one I have the 100 kg bag, and I only have it loaded at 200 pounds. I've had it up to 220, but I needed something that was more in between. I also like this bag, not quite as much. What I found is that the Velcro up here at the top tends to be a little bit less resilient than the Rogue stuff, and it's about the same price as the Rogue one, so I figured why not just go with the one that I've had better experience with. But again, it's not a bad bag, I just don't prefer it. And as promised, here is the Rothco brand bag that I have. This is actually starting to split, but it's lasted a long time. I've loaded it all the way up to 150 pounds. I normally have it loaded at 125, but those are the 3 sandbags that I'm just going to show you here. Again, just a simple Google search, and you can find all sorts of different sandbags. I'm sure that Fringe Sport has them. I'm sure Elite FTS has them. Just shop around and figure out what seems like a good option for you. The things you want to look for are a secure system of keeping the sand in, whether that's zipper, maybe 3 different methods. So like the Rogue one is the zipper plus the 550 cord plus the Velcro. This one has 2 different methods to keep the sand in. It's a zipper plus the Velcro on the top. And this one you got to get a little bit creative, but it all comes down to what your budget can actually handle.
My last recommendation for a strongman gym, if you're just getting started, is going to be a log. This was a big toss-up for me. I wasn't sure whether to recommend a log or an axle bar, but after some thinking, I believe that the log is a better purchase. There's a couple reasons why. Number 1, a log is a great overhead press learning tool, but there's nothing that takes up the amount of space as a log on your neck when you're sitting in the front rack staring up at the sky than a log. Also, logs are used in almost every single strongman competition as the overhead movement. Another reason is because you go from having both hands on a barbell like it would be with an axle. So let's say that you were doing like axle bench press. If you had an axle, your hands would be on line just like they would be with a barbell, and for some people that can put some pressure on their shoulder joint. With a log, you can actually hold it perpendicular too, and that relieves a little bit of pressure on your shoulders. You're able to accentuate some other muscle groups. So it's just a little bit more of a versatile option because of the grips being turned. There's plenty of options out there for logs. This is a 12-inch log from Pitbull. I did a review on that. You can see that review here. There's also options from Sornex. There's options from Titan Fitness. There's options from Rogue Fitness, Slater's Hardware. Basically, the sky's the limit. Texas Power Concepts is one that comes to mind that makes really nice logs. This is where I'm going to recommend that you maybe look up to see if you have a local fabricator that can make you a log, because what better way to get a custom piece of kit than to find a local fabricator and tell them, I want a 12-inch log, I want the loading pins to be this long. You can even customize the color, you can customize about anything. You can have multiple grips inside of it. A lot of Strongman logs that I'm seeing, especially the one that comes to mind is Mateusz Kiełkowski's, is his log actually has adjustable handles. So instead of being welded, it's bolted. And if you want to make the grip narrower or wider, you just remove those bolts, move the handle, put the bolts back in, and now you have a close grip log, a wide grip log. Obviously, there's a lot of space here in this cutaway. What better way to use that space than to have movable handles? But that's my 5th recommendation, is a log bar from some company. And I'll show you those companies right now.
The last thing I'm going to show you guys are the logs. I'm going to start on the Rogue website. They have a 10-inch, an 8-inch, and a 12-inch log. And you can see the prices are $345, $465, and $595 from 8 to 12. If you're a male competitor, you might just want to go with the 12-inch log bar. It ends up weighing in at 134 pounds empty, which it is a little bit heavy, but it's really not that heavy. But this log is definitely made well. It's made by Rogue, so it comes with their guarantee. You don't have to worry about this thing falling apart. I like how they have the end caps kind of sealed in so that items can't get into there. My daughter, for instance, really likes to throw chalk, sidewalk chalk, into my pit bull log. Also on the website, they have the Slater logs, and if I was in a position where money was less of an option, this would definitely be one of the things I would go for. I think these are some of the coolest logs around. One of the disadvantages is that they seem like they're all out of stock, and that's both on Steve Slater's website and on the Rogue website. So that's the Rogue website, and just to summarize again, you have the 8, 10, or 12-inch log, and the possibility of a Slater log if you're willing to wait for them to come back into stock, which I think you should, because they're amazing if you have the money. There's also the local option. I'm showing you Texas Power Concepts website right here because I know that he makes quality equipment, and as you can see, he also has an 8-inch, a 10-inch, and a 12-inch steel log. Mind you, if you don't live near, I believe, Houston, it might be a little bit extra money for shipping, but as you can see, his 12-inch steel log is an 85-pound empty weight, which actually puts it right in line with probably the construction that you're going to find on the pit bull log. This is actually the log that I have. I purchased this years ago. One of the advantages of this log is that it is $369, and that is shipped to you, which is pretty awesome. It says that the weights are 90 and 105. I have the 90-pound model, and mine actually only weighs 85 pounds. Minor detail, but still it doesn't weigh what they advertise. And I actually asked him if they make a 10-inch log, and he says that they used to, but they don't anymore. But again, do a local search. Oftentimes local fabricators are going to be more than willing to throw these logs together for you. And I think you should definitely take advantage of that.
So that's my video on the 5 pieces of equipment I'd recommend you buying if you're going to be starting a Strongman gym. Tell me what you think. Use the comments down below. Do you think that the 5 things I chose are good options? Do you think that there's better options out there? For instance, 2 of the things that I had on here, the sandbag and the log bar, I had to put a lot of thought into where to go with those implements to get the most bang for the buck, because there's only 5 options. With the sandbags, I thought really hard about maybe a farmer's carry implement or maybe an outlet stone. I ended up going with the sandbag because of the versatility. For the log versus maybe an axle bar or some other grip tool, I chose the log because to me the log has the most carryover, the most versatility, and you always see logs in strongman competition. Anyways, that's my video. I appreciate you guys watching. I appreciate you tuning into my channel. If you wouldn't mind, hit the little bell below and you'll get a notification every time I release a video. Also, if you could please subscribe by clicking up here, or you can click over here or here to see some other videos from my channel. I appreciate you guys tuning in, and I'll see you next time.